Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jake here again, and today we are talking about the very foundation of any person's financial plan. That is a budget. Budgeting, yay. Trust me, I get it. You want to run for the hills. You may think budgeting is stressful, or maybe you think it's pointless because, hey, you're not saving a lot right now anyway. Obviously, you're not the only one. According to a bank rate survey conducted in the fall of 2019, 38% of Americans said that staying on top of their current bills was their number one financial priority. 19% listing that paying down debt was their main financial focus. That's over half of Americans, about 57%, purely focused on getting their houses in order, getting their finances straightened out. Only 29% responded that their primary focus was actually saving more. So for most of us, our main everyday stressors are going to stem from our personal finances or our jobs. So it's understandable to look the other way when someone says budget. What I will say is that whatever your excuse is for not having a budget, I bet that's actually the reason why you should maintain one. If you feel like it'll stress you out, if you think you're not saving enough, if you've never tried, think about what a budget can do for you. Imagine knowing exactly how much money is coming in, where every single dollar is going, and better understanding some of your own spending habits. Once you have all of that in front of you, it's a quick step to putting together a plan to help you stay organized, cut back on bad spending, help you save more, or pay down a debt quicker, and essentially get you something to get excited about. Ultimately, having a real budget can essentially help give you more confidence that whatever situation you may be in, you have a handle on things and you can see a path forward. Right? Now, before we go any further, I do want to talk about something that I find is very common, but something that I actually advise against, and that is combining your budget with your savings plan. Separate them. Why? What's the big deal? This is a needs versus wants conversation. Our budget is going to cover our needs. Our needs are a place to live, food, clothing, insurance, etc. These are things that no matter what, we need to cover at the end of the day. Our wants will be our savings plan, and that's the goals we have, things we want to do in our life on top of our basic needs. Simple fact is that we can all delay a vacation or a night out with friends when our utility bill is on the line. When we allow that line between needs and wants to blur, that's when we end up splurging on purchases, on unnecessary purchases, start piling things up on our credit card bill, we get behind in our savings. Make your life simpler, separate the budget from the savings plan, and prioritize with your needs first. Prioritize your budget. Now, let's pivot to functionally creating a budget. All right. It doesn't have to be complicated. There are so many different resources out there to help you accomplish this. There are mobile banking apps that have budgeting features. I, as an advisor, as well as other advisors, can provide budgeting technology for clients. There are probably a dozen apps out there you can use. Maybe you're old school. You want to do it by the book. Maybe you just want to use an Excel spreadsheet. Try a few different options, see what you're most comfortable with, see what's easiest for you. Something I do like recommending when putting together a budget is to create a little tradition for yourself. Two biggest complaints about budgeting is that number one, you feel like a chore. Number two, you can just forget about it. I mean, let's be honest. Let's reward yourself for doing it. Let's combine it with a hobby. Just do something to lessen the tension around it. Why not spend 30 minutes a month, review your budget, and then order a pizza and have a glass of wine? Why not throw on your favorite sitcom, have a big breakfast, and spend 30 minutes going over it while you just enjoy your coffee? Create a little tradition where it's just not another chore to do, because basically, I mean, we all love procrastinating chores, let's be honest. Write it down in your phone, in your agenda, in your calendar, in your notes, set reminders, set alarms. This being a tradition, you want to do it at the same time every month. So do everything in your power to remind yourself to follow through with it when the time comes so that you can actually create that tradition. All right. Now let's go ahead and just go through a sample budget quickly, just to give you a bit of a visual aid. Now, I find it easiest just to start at the beginning. What's your income? What ends up in your bank account at the end of each month? And let's just use someone basic. We'll assume, basic numbers, assume all this is after taxes. Someone making $60,000 a year, which breaks down to $5,000 per month. Let's throw that right at the top, all right? Now we start adding our fixed monthly expenses. These are our needs. This is gonna be our housing, insurance, clothing, groceries, utilities, phone bills, childcare. It can be either as simple or as detailed as you're comfortable with, but just try to get as close to the real numbers as possible. So, that's gonna be easy for some of these, is there'll be fixed expenses. Some are gonna fluctuate and change, so estimating is fine. But when you are estimating, overestimate, all right? Look at what you roughly pay monthly for those variable expenses. Take that number and give yourself a buffer, all right? Psychologically, it's gonna feel way better if you end up with more money in your bank account than less, because, hey, you spent less than what your budget was, okay? Now, finally, automate your stuff. You can see we end up with net takeaway of $700 with this budget. Automate yourself, all right? Align your bill dates with your paycheck dates. Take advantage of the out of sight, out of mind psychology. You get paid on the 1st and 15th of every month. Set up your bill dates for the 2nd and the 16th of every month, all right? Have the money go towards your needs first before you spend a dime on your wants or your guilty pleasures. And as you can see, each pay date, we still end up having excess income. Now look, it all seems straightforward and simple enough, but there's still a reason most Americans don't maintain a budget. There's a reason most Americans are stressed about just organizing themselves financially. So if your excuse is that you're not making enough money or it is too stressful, I get it, but that's the very reason why you should be budgeting. How great would it feel to find extra savings where you knew you were spending too much? Maybe you realize there are cheaper alternatives to certain things. I mean, how would it feel if you could pay off a stressful debt quicker because you better understood how to maximize your payments? Budgeting will never be the most exciting thing in your life, but it is the backbone to your financial health. You have to do the legwork first to set yourself up for success, because as we'll talk about savings plans next, and we'll get excited about those, remember, savings plans often fall apart as soon as the budget fails. That's all for now. Till next time, guys.